Hello, here's a short overview for you of the culminating. So the idea is that you're going to do a research report. So something a little bit different from an essay because when you go on to college, you'd be asked to do more report style writing. So I thought it was important to do a business style report. Because this is the culminating, it needs to touch on the four strands in English. So there is reading, so clearly you're going to have to read things about your mental health topic. And then writing, there's clearly a research report that you have to write. A media component needs to be included, so some kind of public service announcement. I'll explain through that as well. And then an oral component. So if you can find the time to have a conversation with me, either through the phone or FaceTime, digitally, that we can have some kind of conversation that will help your mark as well to get that oral component mark. So the idea behind this research report is that there's equal amount of marks and things for the actual research process, let alone the actual research report. To me, I really want to emphasize the process. It's something that you can use no matter what report that you're asked to do at the college level, whether you're going into a shop class, an auto body, and maybe they're asking you to do research on fuel efficiency cars, or perhaps you're going into a health field and a nurse and you have to do something similar to this mental health topic. This steps that you're going to follow would be the same no matter what. So there are marks for finding the different resources, there's marks for doing the paraphrasing and the note taking, there's marks for following the MLA format that I've outlined. All of those things come together to help you with it. All right, so there's the actual outline here that you can download. But the first step for you to do is actually find the sources. So I walk you through that of how to get them on the virtual library. And just a reminder, when you're actually writing your research report, that you're going to be expected to do in-text citation. So that means once you've done a works cited in your bibliography using EasyBib, the first word, or how it's alphabetized, is always by the author's last name. And if there is no author for your source, the first word that shows up in that work cited is your title. So whatever that first word is goes in the bracket so that as people are reading your research report, they can reference it because it's alphabetized. So this is a classic Shakespeare quote, to be or not to be. So Shakespeare is clearly the author, and that's what goes in brackets. If there was no author you didn't know, then it would be Hamlet, which is the title of that Shakespeare piece that goes in it. Right, so following the steps to create a works cited, again, submitting that is also worth marks. Going through EasyBib and making sure that it is alphabetized, that it is double spaced, that you have sources from encyclopedias, books, articles, websites, all the different types of sources, and that's not just all websites and it's not all from Wikipedia, will all increase your mark. There are also some final touches that are very specific to works cited and to the formatting for MLA. So the size and font, MLA requires a size 12 Arial font. There's a 1-inch margin, the double spacing, the indenting. This is all specific to the look of an MLA research paper. There's also no title pages anymore in an MLA research paper. They just ask that in the top left-hand corner you include your name, the professor or the teacher that's requiring it, the course code, and the date that it is required to be submitted. The due date goes into that first upper left-hand corner for it. So all those things are very specific. I've already created for you a sample outline, so as long as you don't edit it or you don't change it and you keep everything the way it was, you should get full marks for it. So know that that's already been spaced out perfectly for you in an MLA format. APA is very similar, just in case you ever get asked to do that. APA, the only difference is that after you put the author, you include the date that it was published. There's no other real big difference. Then as part of the research process, after you've found all of your sources, then the idea is that you read them and you paraphrase them. So we already looked at this with the 2 articles that you had to do with the bridge and the suicide articles with 13 Reasons Why, where after each paragraph you've paraphrased it and put it into a sentence and you've highlighted the key points to it. So again, I'm asking you to do the same thing. You find 2 articles, you break it up into into a table format like this. Try and state the main idea and summarize in a sentence what is going on in each of the paragraphs next to it. So if you can do that for 2 of your research articles, again, that is worth marks as part of the process of actually reading all the research and going through it. Moving along, this is the public service announcement, the media component. So most common people do a poster for me or a pamphlet. It could also be an infograph. I recommend PictoChart if that's what you're going to do. But if you tend to be good at Movie Maker or doing any kind of radio announcements, anything like that, that can also be done. What needs to be on the poster or part of the public service announcement is a description of the illness, symptoms, causes, treatments, interesting facts, and 2 resources to help, like hotlines, websites, things where they can get more resources. Those all need to be included in your mental health PSA. Finally, this is completing the actual research written report. So this is a sample of what it should look like. Again, all of this spacing and what's in here is all specific to MLA formatting. So don't change the title, don't make it bigger, don't underline it. Just type in whatever your topic is. So say it's anxiety, you erase that and put that in. And then I've given you some sentence starters and some transition words to give you the flow and the idea if you've never written a research report. So they should all start with the same kind of lead. This research report is about anxiety. This mental health issue is interesting because, and this from your own head, why do you find anxiety interesting? And then you need to find a little bit of research. It's sad to report that over so many people suffer from it. State the author where you got that found. It's found in more males than females, or it's found more in teens, it's found more in the elderly, whatever it is. And then this research report will cover signs, symptoms, causes, interesting facts, and treatments for anxiety. So this is like your thesis. Again, it's just stating all the different headings that you're going to be talking about. Then you write a paragraph about signs and symptoms. Every time you provide a new fact or new piece of information from whatever your source is, you need a transition word. So I've repeated the same transition words over and over again. It's great if you can change that up and do something different than in fact, in addition, as well. So if you could make some different ones every time, that would be wonderful and it would increase your mark. And again, after each one, making sure that you cite where that's coming from and you're putting the author. Again, if there is no author, you put the title. Then you have a concluding paragraph as well. This research report covered extensively mental health issue of, say, anxiety. And then this final part is where you get to put some of your own opinion. Am I putting this issue is sad or is important or more people need to talk about it? Whatever you want to say in that sentence. And I hope people with the issue can get help or find the resources or do what they need to get better. All right, so in the drop boxes, there is a different drop box for each one of these things, and they are all worth marks. So finding the encyclopedia source. You should be able to go through the virtual library, click actually on the print button, and it will give you an option to do an export as a PDF. All of these should be able to do that. So you should be able to upload for me a PDF encyclopedia article, PDF of a book from Teen Health and Wellness. The website source needs to be something not Wikipedia, not an open source, so no chat rooms, those kinds of things, not a valid, validated source. There's a separate box for the works cited, for the 2 paraphrase articles, to put your mental health PSA, and then finally for your actual research report. So again, each one of these are worth marks. So just writing the research report is not enough for the full 20%. If you want the full 20%, you need to put things in each one of these drop boxes. All right, and that is it for the culminating. It's a big thing. It should take you most of June to get through. I hope you spend some time on it because it is worth 20%. So do take your time with it. If you have any questions or struggles or problems trying to get to the sources, by all means, email me, contact me, go see one of your librarians. They are also wonderful resources, wonderful people that should know how to access these sources. Thanks.